challenge that was set up, connected Lincoln with Chicago. We had a number of designers and educationalists through our own network within the School of Art Design that came into the university, and we had a number of designers and educationalists in Chicago based at Columbia College who came in to connect with us throughout the day for a project to do with the plight of the honeybee. Those collaborations are very exciting, and obviously when we start to cross continents and we start to share our experiences and our backgrounds, we bring a lot more knowledge to the table.
So design it's all about creative problem solving. That's the objective. Is not to create a group of many designers, big designers. It's about people having the opportunity, regardless of age, to learn how to problem solve and to do it in a creative manner. That's really the objective.
Doris and myself gave the introduction, and we were fortunate then to have secured 2 keynote speakers who were able to talk in more detail about the plight of the honeybee.
For better or for worse, we're seeing that honeybees are the poster children for environmental crises of the 21st century.
I've called it a Copernican moment when we realize that things have changed. And when we sit back and think about that realization, it's not that things have changed, it's we have changed.
I've kind of just come with an open mind and not really knowing what to expect, but from what I've read and from what I've seen so far, I've learned a lot already.
It'll be interesting just to see, I suppose, where this goes, and it's quite a sort of deep starting point, I suppose, and something I don't think anybody really knew what it was going to be when we were all asked to take part in some sort of design challenge as such.
I hope I can bring some creative ideas because that's one of my areas of expertise, and I'll try to provide as many strange, original ideas to try to solve a little bit this problem.
I think it's nice that there's different levels of designers here, so there's really professional designers and then there's people still studying. I'm looking forward to seeing the different levels of the way we tackle the creative problem.
The interaction between the studios, Lincoln and the US, was incredible. The groups would go up into their studios and they connected via Skype. And the moment they did that, the whole environment seemed to change. There was a real buzz actually in the studio. People were suddenly bouncing ideas, rapid fire sort of conversation and ideas. Things were being scribbled down on large whiteboards or pieces of paper to capture everything that was being discussed.
Been looking at spreading seeds on roadsides, meadow seeds, looking in sort of conjunction with the people in America. They've been looking at florists and sort of making people more aware of local flowers. So we've kind of come up with this idea of bee oases as well, so that not to affect the farmers' crops, but part of the field or every so many fields has a mixture of flowers in with hives.
I think to begin with we thought, well, we'll design a product, but as the day has gone on, we kind of think, well, maybe you don't have to design a product, maybe trying to sell or design an experience, maybe to make people aware of the situation, because not many people are, and maybe that's how you tackle it.
The outcome beyond that, I think, is certainly with the team that I'm working with, the understanding of collaboration and how you collaborate and kind of maybe network, build sort of useful working networks with people, but also using people as a facility to find probably slightly more left field solutions than they're expecting. I mean, you know, working with a team of people who are primarily, I suppose, students, undergrads and postgraduates in my group, they have a good understanding of design process, but also at the moment is probably practice specific rather than necessarily design as a broader subject area where they're able to kind of introduce other ways of thinking.
I think for everybody who was part of the opportunity, it was a real learning curve. It was an opportunity to test this style, this approach, this methodology. I think the thing that shone out for me was how successful it was in bringing people together, separated by geography,
but connected through media technology, meant that students and participants in the programme were able to collaborate together, share ideas, explore ideas, and you know, when you start getting into that, you're really tapping into some really powerful themes.
What I found really interesting, and I think was quite evident on the day, is that we're not scientists, we're not engineers, we're not beekeepers, we are designers. And I think we began to tackle the problem from a slightly different angle. But the solutions that were coming forward as to how we could address this problem range from everything from addressing it within the curriculum within schools and getting youngsters to understand the problem much earlier on, right through to quite complex solutions which industry might need to pick up on, or the individual at home might need to just address some of their own sort of living habits.
The actual design challenge, I felt like their ideas very much featured around primary education that they came back with, and quite off the wall, but then I think ours were quite bonkers ideas that came out of the Lincoln side of it.
It's interesting how culturally, say in the US, they see things quite differently to us about the same sort of problems, but they all see it from a very different angle, and that in itself is really interesting too.
It's a brilliant way of actually getting different people, diversities, different cultures, getting them together. I think that's just amazing, absolutely amazing. So I think it's a great way of a learning tool, and I think we should actually be taking this learning tool and putting it into our schools today.
The Design Learning Network is really successful in breaking down those barriers that delineate between teacher and learner. And I think to tackle that issue and to put everybody in the same boat, on the same level, exploring ideas together is incredibly empowering. And for me, it is a collaborative approach. We're all invested in a process. We aren't simply sharing a set of knowledge and skills that we hold and we're passing on to somebody else. It's a collaborative approach by definition. The whole process is predicated on the value of collaborative learning.
And I think really what we're trying to do with the Design Learning Challenge is facilitate parts of that. The results that we draw from it, both Doris and myself, are that this was something that was really worth doing, and it sort of fuels the imagination for more projects. Creativity is everywhere, and we need to get outside of our immediate comfort zone, and the more people we can encourage to do that, I think it will be better for everybody.